welcome to day 10 of our January Challenge 2019, working on Pure Imagination by Lauren Scott, and this is a fuller version. So on day 10 we're going to be looking at the same section of music you learnt back on day 4 when we were doing our more straightforward version, but it's been filled out and it's got again some more interesting notes that require some levers in it. What I will say at this point is that if you are finding this piece, this arrangement, difficult to play, it's because it is trickier. It is absolutely a trickier, more detailed, more going on kind of arrangement, and that is okay. So if you're finding this really difficult, I don't want you to beat yourself up for that. It's designed to be trickier, and I want you to be up for giving it a go, but also up for saying, I am giving it a go, but it is tricky, and it's okay that it's tricky. All right, I'm going to play today's learning. It's just 4 bars today. I'm just going to go straight in and play it, and then I'll talk through. You'll notice that I've got some levers already set, and I'll tell you about those in a moment. They were the ones that got altered yesterday. So I'll play through first. Okay, so if I just get rid of the things I've just altered, there we go. So to start playing today, if you're going straight into what we're learning today, you need the F sharp as normal, the one that stays the same throughout. I've also got the A below middle C as a natural, and I've got my E lever on above middle C as a natural as well. So I've got an F sharp below middle C, an A natural just below middle C, and an E natural just above middle C. And that's where I'm starting to be able to play this day 10, this last line on that first page. Okay, I'm going to do the right hand on its own first, and much like we did on day 4, it's E, F, E, F, E. It's lovely, but we're going to add one extra note at the beginning with a finger 4 on the G. If it's too much, that's a note you can leave out, but if you can reach it, and notice I've got this nice curve on my 4th finger to be able to still play that cleanly. Haven't let my fingers go straight because that will fall into other notes. So nice curve on that 4th finger on the right notes, and I'll play 4 and 2 together, really neat, and then 1 2 1 2. Okay, do you want to try that with me, just that bar with the right hand? Okay, 3 and 4 and. Okay, we'll try that again. So my 4th finger's on G, my finger 2 is on the E. This is all higher than middle C, and my thumb is on the F right next to that E. Okay, again, 3 and 4 and. Okay, and you're just looking for that clean sound on the 2 and the 4. So really put some pressure into your thumb so that you've got something to pull against as you're playing those notes. Okay, lovely. So you've played those. Then we move to thumb on the D, finger 3 on the F, but also finger 2 on the B. So you'll see that there's the square bracket there telling you to get all 3 of those notes placed. And we're going to play the outer 2 and then go into that middle one. And we'll try and make them really together. Okay. Now, if you find that when you try and do something like this, that you find yourself going ba-dum when you play that, either from the lowest note to the top or the top note to the bottom. One of the best ways of ironing that out isn't to just keep playing it and playing it and playing it and hope that it'll improve, but is to try to purposefully reverse the way that you're playing it. So if you're playing the lower note first before you play the thumb, try on purpose to play the thumb before the lower note. And what you'll actually find is that you're more likely to then land exactly together with them, because what your body, for whatever reason, is wanting to do is play that one in advance, and by trying to play the other one in advance, it irons it out and they end up landing at the same time. It's a really nice trick where you don't have to do too much mechanical processing. You just focus on trying to play it the opposite way from the incorrect way. And you're still officially trying to play it incorrect because you're trying to play the other note first, but actually what ends up happening is we end up correct. I'm going to get on with it. Okay, so this second full bar, you've got F and D with B, and then we leap down, same size of shape, same pattern of notes, thumb on the G, finger 3 on the B, and finger 2 sitting ready on an E, which, because of our lever, is an E natural. Okay, so let's just do that bar properly in time. So thumb is on D, finger 3 is on F, finger 2 is on B, and you would try and open your hand up and place all 3 of those at the same time. So here we go. And then when you move, you try and open up to that same shape and place all 3 at the same time. Okay, here's our count in. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, just do that again, same thing. Get your hand ready. 3 and 4 and. Well done. Okay. And then let's just lead into that from the beginning bar. So we have the 2 and the 4 on the E with finger 2 and the 4 reaching all the way to a G. It's quite a big stretch, so really be conscious of letting your hand be reaching that way a bit so that you can get a bit of a curve into your 4th finger. Okay, so we're playing both of these bars, just the right hand. 3 and 4 and. And 4 and. Brilliant. Now I would like to add the left hand under that before we go any further. The left hand is actually identical to what you learnt back in day 4 when we were doing the more straightforward version. Lauren's quite sensibly kept that more straightforward because the right hand's being so busy, and it makes sense not to overfill the piece. Not because of complexity, but because of the sound. It sounds better not being overfilled. So when one hand or the other is being more complicated, the other one can just stay a bit more sedentary. So let's try that hands together. So the left hand is playing an A, which you might do with a finger 4, not least because you've just been doing some levers. We did them at the end of yesterday. So a finger 4 on the A with my thumb sort of up and ready because my next note would be a middle C. I'm not going to get there, I'm not going to place it, I've got plenty of time. It's a minim A. I play the A, my left hand then jumps to C, G, E. It's the top 3 notes of an arpeggio shape. And then I'm going to do G to C. Okay? And those fit underneath, and the G and the C land with the more chord part of what's going on in the top hand. So I'm just going to go now into playing this hands together. You might just want to listen for now, and then later on you can join in with the play-alongs. Here we go. 3 and 4 and. Okay. What I find myself sometimes doing in that second bar, just because I'd had a 4th finger on this shape in the first bar, the G and the E, I kind of find myself still wanting to use a finger 4 on the D and F, so the 4 on the F. It's okay, and then I get myself back to a 3, which is a more normal fingering. So it's okay to do that, so long as you do it evenly and you play the right notes. Okay, and of course, if this all feels a bit difficult, you could just play the top line, D to the B, to the G, to the E. And whether you jump that or whether you actually place 1, 2, 3 and 4. So if you wanted to thin it back out again, you could do that. Okay, so let's get into this third bar now. I'm going to do the right hand first of all. Again, it's very similar to what we did on day 4 because we have G, A, and this last time we're going to reach out a 4 to add a C with that G. And then there's an E, but it's an E flat. So we would have changed that with our left hand. So I'm going to just take that off so that you can hear that. So earlier on we were going, and it's on, and there it's off again, okay? Putting the left hand under that, which is kind of vital so that we get this lever change. So I'm going to put the E back on, I'm going to get my right hand on the G and the A. My left hand is going to play an F with either a 2 or a 3 and my thumb on the B. And I don't know if you recall back from day 4, going from the previous bar, the G to the C to the F to the B, going down to the E, just to kind of place and walk through it a bit. We won't be able to place down to that E because we're going to do a lever change and we'll have to jump for it, but apart from that we can place beforehand. So going straight in on this third bar with G and A in the right, F and B in the left, and we're going to include the lever change, which we need because it's that note that we're actually going to play, so it needs to be a very speedy get up for the lever and come back again. So here we go, 3 and 4 and. Okay, so just try that one more time. F to B in the left, G and A in the right, 3 and 4 and. Okay, getting the lever change and immediately being able to come back down. It's a quick lever change. It's happened so that I can play in that 4th beat, and therefore if I've got it right, I've got it done by then, so I can be coming down, and actually I need to reach all the way down to the base of my harp. So I'm going to do that note with a finger 4, just because a finger 4 is less of a reach than a 2, taking my hand further down. So finger 4 allows me to do a less of a reach. In the right hand in this last bar for today, the next notes are D, F and G going to a B. Now Lauren's fingering that she's put in really makes a lot of sense here, in that she's put 2, 3, 4 on the first chord and 1 on the B. And the reason it makes such sense is that apart from the security of playing that B, it's also the exact shape that you get then going to leap to an octave higher for that last minim. So having that fingering there and playing the 2, 3, 4 really neatly together, and you'll want to practice that a few times, which you can practice without playing the thumb. You just have the thumb securely placed and then going bum, bum, opening up to the exact same shape you've just done there feels the most comfortable. So it's a really good choice of fingering. So if we play, just do that last bar together, the D, F, G and B, and notice how my hand opens up to the whole thing. That's what you want to try and emulate. After a count in, 3 and 4 and. So that's going to be something to practice, isn't it? Leaping up without it being a panic. You've got this. And there's time. Okay. And then we'll do exactly that again. I'm going to add a bass E. And there is a lever change to fit in, which is ready for what's going to happen tomorrow. So bass E with this. And the lever change is actually a bass A, a real bass A. So it's very close to the note you've just played. You've played an E and it's right here. Okay, down near the lowest part of your harp. Okay, here we go. 3 and 4 and 4 and. So in terms of where do I put my focus, what's the most useful place? Take that lever off again. I was placed at the beginning. As soon as I'd played that left hand note and my right hand was still secure, that's when I got my hand up to the lever. Then I played my right thumb and I reached up, and I maybe didn't change the lever until I was actually playing that chord, but my hand was ready to do it. So my attention could come to the leap that my right hand has to do. All about where you put your focus and where it's needed and using it in the most valuable way. Okay, there feels like a lot in there today. It's only 2 lever changes and you can do it if you practice, if you try. Okay, so I'm going to get rid, I've already got rid of that one, that's okay. I'm going to put my E back on above middle C so that I'm back to having my F sharp like normal, my A just below middle C and my E just above middle C. And I'm going to put all of today together and play it for you now. So my right hand is on G with finger 4, E on the 2, thumb on the F. Left hand is doing an A with finger 4 so I can leap up to middle C and do these top 3 notes of an arpeggio going down. Then I'm leaping down here. My writing's going to move as well, and you'll be fine. Do as much or as little as you want, whether you just choose to listen or whether you try and join in. Here's our count, and I'm doing it nice and steady. 3 and 4 and. Okay. Interestingly there, I didn't move my left hand quickly enough to give my focus at the right point to that lowest lever. As a result, I had a bit of a panic and I ended up playing the wrong top chord. It sounded okay, but it wasn't the right notes. Just goes to show it's about where do you put your focus and doing it at the right time. And that right time might be quite split second. But if you get it right, then you can play it and it works. Keep it up, you're doing great. And like I started today saying, if you're finding it tricky, that's okay, because it is tricky. And if you're finding it tricky and feeling deflated and don't want to carry on with this particular piece, that's also okay, because you've got the original version that you worked on and you can just work on polishing that and making that better yet. And you can still then, you would be able to play these two together and it would sound lovely. Okay, so there's nothing to be put off by, and everything to gain if you want to try. But yeah, it is tricky, but you're doing great, so well done.